Hello everyone, you are about to hear a brief summary of the movie 12 Rounds. Enjoy watching. Danny Fisher is a police officer from New Orleans. Together with his partner, they are going to help the FBI capture the dangerous criminal Miles Jackson. The feds are conducting an operation to catch him right now. Jackson blew up the American embassy and a passenger plane and once even cut off his own brother's head. The arms dealer is supposed to meet with the criminal who made a deal with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Samuel was promised that after the operation, both he and his brother would be released. However, everything went off plan. Samuel injured Jackson and offered the FBI to exchange the dangerous criminal for his brother. The bandits destroyed all the cameras and threw Jackson into a van. In fact, Samuel and Jackson were initially in cahoots and staged the show for the FBI agents. One thing they didn't consider was that they would encounter an ordinary cop, Danny Fisher. The partners got a tip and went after the convoy. But Samuel did not account for that. He got involved with a sociopath and a thug. Jackson pulled out a knife and stabbed Samuel. After that, he met with his accomplice girlfriend Erica. In fact, their van went in another direction, and Jackson left the feds in the lurch. They arrested all the criminals except the main one. At the traffic light, Danny recognized Jackson's girlfriend and followed her car. The officer demanded that Erica stop. The partner approached the car and asked the girl to show her license. Zalintea usiki sida Danny wanted Erica to open the trunk. At that moment, Jackson jumped out of the trunk and opened fire on the police. Erica floored the gas pedal and sped forward. Hank was wounded in the backside and was left lying in a pile of trash. Danny did not wait for backup and ran to intercept. He emptied the entire magazine at the car but did not hit the criminals. The lovers were confident they had managed to escape, but Danny continued the chase. The policeman realized that the criminals were heading to the docks and blocked their way with a boat. Erica didn't manage to brake in time and crashed into it. The couple jumped out of the car and was about to flee, but suddenly another car hit Erica at full speed. The girl died on the spot. Jackson remembered the name of that persistent cop and promised to find him. Time passed. Year. For capturing the arms dealer, the patrol officers were promoted to detectives. A month ago, Danny was supposed to fix the sink but forgot, which caused a flood in the house. He often messes up and his wife Molly is constantly upset with Danny. This morning, he received a casual call from Miles Jackson. He escaped from prison and even knows about the broken faucet and the argument with Molly. Danny ran out into the street with a gun, and at that moment, his car blew up. A few seconds later, the criminal blew up the house where the locksmith was at that moment. It was an accident, laughs Jackson, just like with his girlfriend Erica a year ago. It was time for Danny to pay for everything. This was the first round and Jackson won it. Danny realized that Molly's life was in danger and rushed to the ferry. At that moment, the girl was asked for her phone. Danny was still late, but he didn't give up and took the Chevrolet from the driver. The policeman sped across the bridge parallel to the ferry. He called his partner and reported Jackson's escape. The ship docked at the shore where the criminal mastermind was already waiting. Danny almost got into an accident and still was slightly late. Among the ferry passengers, Molly was not there, and Jackson already answered the call from her phone. The tied-up girl lies in his car. This was the second round in which Jackson won again. There will be 12 such rounds in total. To keep Molly alive, Danny will have to follow all his orders. Now the cop needs to go to where they first met a year ago. On one of the buildings, the partners found the time and coordinates. At the specified location, there is a fire station where the brother works. The policeman asked everyone to evacuate from there. Right now, Jackson was supposed to call someone's phone. That's what happened. Only the needed receiver was in the store. Danny managed to answer. The third round is his, but now he needs to go to the bank where a fire has broken out at this very moment. On the phone, he will find the numbers of 2 safe deposit boxes. Danny needs to retrieve them by 6 o'clock. Danny went to the bank following the firefighters. 2 weeks ago, Jackson organized the riot. Dozens of prisoners escaped. In the end, all were returned behind bars. all except Jackson. Danny was given a uniform and he ran upstairs with the firefighters. The man climbed to the necessary floor and broke into the room with the safe deposit boxes. Taking out the needed boxes, he saw timers on both. Here's a surprise. The next round started. In one of the boxes there is an explosive. Now, Danny needs to get to the pier, traveling 23 blocks. If he doesn't make it in time, the bomb will explode. In the other box, there's a key to the next round. Benny has only 7 minutes. He decided to descend from the high-rise building using a rope. It would be the fastest way. The rope was slightly too short. So, the cop just flew down the remaining floors and landed on the scaffolding. The only way to get to the pier in time is to steal a fire truck, which Danny did without hesitation. In the process, he nearly killed a person and destroyed a lot of vehicles. To cut corners, Danny demolished a Hawaiian-style cafe, miraculously not hurting anyone. He is on a timed mission, so the cop ruthlessly crashes into all oncoming cars. The important thing is he made it 5 seconds before time ran out, but Jerk Jackson still decided to detonate the bomb. Fortunately, Danny managed to throw it into the water. The second box was opened by the bomb squad, and inside they found a keycard for a hotel room. The feds installed a wiretap on Danny's phone. If he drags the conversation out to 30 seconds, they will be able to determine the criminal's location. The cops cordoned off the hotel and entered the necessary room. There, Danny found photos of his wife. The agents reviewed the camera footage. Half an hour ago, Jackson showed a piece of paper to the camera. It said, "We are still here." Then the criminal needed an old freight elevator for some reason. He asked the security guard Willie for help. Danny decided to use it as well. Suddenly the elevator stopped. Inside it, the cop found a video player. In the recorded clip, the wife announced that the 6th round had begun. They will have 60 seconds with the god Willie, after which the elevator will fall down. Danny climbed onto the roof of the elevator, but Willie is too heavy to follow him. Fortunately, the cop did not give up. Nearly getting a hernia, Danny managed to pull the guard up. However, the big guy started complaining about his back and didn't have time to get to his feet. When the time ran out, the cable broke and Willie fell into the shaft with the elevator. Another innocent victim on Jackson's conscience. He just called from the tram. Danny stalled the conversation as much as he could, but Jackson guessed that the Federal Bureau of Investigation was trying to trace the call, so he hung up early. The criminal changed the SIM card twice and directed Danny to the train to Denmark opposite. There was a photograph displayed, and behind it, a note with an address. Jackson insisted on going to the next bus stop. He went without the FBI. Danny boarded the arriving bus, and he saw Molly there. She had explosives attached to her. Jackson was sitting right there too. He found and destroyed the bug. The FBI agents called for snipers. Jackson handcuffed Danny and showed the detonator. If he removes his finger for 10 seconds, Molly will be blown to pieces. Snipers took positions on the bridge. One is supposed to break the glass, and the second to hit the target. Danny still has a transmitter in his ear, and he hears all the communications. The policeman realized that the snipers were about to shoot, so he threw Jackson's wife to the floor and got wounded in the shoulder himself. The criminal ran out of the bus and vanished with the hostage in the crowd. Danny punched the FBI agent who arranged it because by killing Jackson, he would also have killed all the bus passengers. The partner contacted the convict Jackson befriended in prison. They might be able to extract some information from him. Jackson managed to hand Danny an envelope. Inside, there are 5 phone numbers that can be called. One of them is correct. The others will activate mechanisms scattered around the city. Danny was given only 60 seconds to decide, and he made a mistake. Just now, the policeman disabled the tram's brakes. Now Danny will have to find a way to stop it. At the end of the tram's route, there's some kind of fair. If it's not stopped, many people will die. It seems the only way to do this is to cut the electricity. But for now, Danny hit the brakes right in front of the tram, then broke the windshield and climbed onto the roof of the vehicle. He climbed into the carriage, tugged at the lever, and then climbed onto the roof of the tram. There he tried to knock off the poles, but with no success. Having achieved nothing, Danny returned to the car. The Hell tram continued moving, demolishing everything in its path. Then Danny decided to drive his car into the electrical substation. An explosion occurred, and the city's lights went out. However, the tram kept moving by inertia, and only stopped when it smashed through a fence and a van. The main thing is that you are still alive. At the same time, Hank started tailing the hare that befriended Jackson. For some reason, it went to the welding factory. Unfortunately, this is also part of the game. The building was rigged with explosives. Jackson blew up Hank along with his body. The feds informed Denji that his partner was killed. A pleased Jackson called and solemnly announced the start of the 12th round. Molly is covered with explosives, and only Denny's touch will stop the timer. Jackson suggested to the cop to visit a year-deceased woman into esotericism, which means they need to go to the cemetery. They called Denny from the police station in general and wrote that they managed to understand. All 5 numbers would lead to the cancellation of the tram, and in the elevator, the attendant restrained the coast as he was supposed to before the guard really died. Denny did not react. Something is not right here. Willie also worked at the Federal Bank, and Jackson replaced him today. During the elevator ride, the gas was lost and they evacuated 3 blocks. Later, Denny chose electricity. In such cases, they remove everything unnecessary from the bank premises. The temporary storage is in the evacuation zone. There's already $100 million in the storage. Jackson arranged all this for them. He didn't end up with his late lover. In the quarter, so many fire trucks. As for what happened, the perpetrator hijacked one of them and siphoned the pump into the grandma, which was previously drained into the sewage. Molly, Matepita, Sastike, Posabia at best, is not in the cemetery, but in that very fire truck. Jackson marked a spot close to the hospital. He himself ended up there and developed Molly. There are 2 people in this hospital. She pointed out where the body packs are stored. In one of them, Jackson followed the grandmas. In one of them, Jackson followed the old ladies. Molly kept back, which helped Denny brace himself for the turn of the chopper. Jackson tried to get off without a ticket, but only punctured a melting tin. The dear one rode in the carousel. Jackson pulled a pile into the edge of the scalpel, and then found a pistol on him. But Molly tilted the helicopter. That helped her husband, and Denny knocked out the attendant. True, the helicopter made it uncontrollable. Jackson acted and set the bomb. There are 30 seconds to escape. The helicopter made it to escape. The helicopter made it to escape. He managed to save them. The helicopter was going down.